Wait, Chica's actually kind of hot. I mean, what?
The internet has always had a fascination with the strange and eccentric. From the early days of posting on forums, many were enamored with bizarre individuals who managed to make their way to the net. By the mid-2010s, this practice of talking about strange people online turned into what is commonly referred to as cringe culture. The idea of talking about something purely on the fact that it is strange or weird, or able to be mocked by the average person. Because, hey, there's something we all find weird.
And so you know what happens when there's cringy shit on the internet. We gotta cringe at it.
In the case of internet personalities like JellyBean and Meowbahh, neither of them are anything we haven't seen before, but they do exemplify the way that pointless controversy can lead to internet stardom. Enter JellyBean, a Minecraft personality most well known for her YouTube Shorts, where she interacts with her audience alongside snappy visuals and art of her recognizable character. She's the frontrunner of what has now been dubbed the PNG tuber community. PNG tubers exist in a space between YouTubers who use character stills to convey emotion, and VTubers who use rigging software to track their facial expressions, displaying them on a 3D model of their avatar in real time. Although mainly marketing herself as a streamer, she's best known for this style of content, with the views and attention she receives from her YouTube channel boosting the popularity of her mainline videos. Just to put into perspective how meteoric this rise to popularity was, her YouTube channel went from a monthly average of 900 subscribers to over 600,000 within under a year's time. This success also carried over to TikTok, where her account reached a peak of over 800,000 followers. And when watching it, it's not hard to tell that JellyBean's content is mainly geared towards younger teens and children, with her shorts containing yelling, flashy visuals, and very basic and inoffensive humor.
I asked Twitter when is the worst time to say I love you to somebody. These were the responses. When you fart next to them on the bus, when it's 7 in the morning and it's the teacher, when your hands touch as you pass the change to your cashier. That would be such a cute and intimate moment with the cashier.
Despite her videos containing what some may deem low-quality content, that hasn't fazed her loyal audience, with them excitedly waiting for every single one of her uploads. She's actually become so popular and influential that a number of smaller creators have begun copying her content style almost exactly, using the same editing techniques, music, and background footage, in an effort to hopefully replicate her success. Red Velvety and FrostFox would probably be some of the best examples.
What if JellyBean started PNG tubing? JellyBean? PNG tubing? I would have never guessed.
Both of these names have actually managed to accumulate sizable audiences of their own, and differentiate themselves enough from JellyBean that they've carved out their own little niche in this strange new area of YouTube. And they're just a few examples. There are many, many more. This has effectively created a new subgenre of Minecraft creators, with them frequently collaborating with each other and boosting their success as a group. Keep in mind, all of this is still being spearheaded by JellyBean herself. However, as she would soon find out, this fame would not go without its downsides.
Reading my horrible hate comments!
Basically anyone who becomes popular within a new genre will receive some amount of backlash, especially when they're as eccentric as JellyBean is. It's likely this was expected by her in some way. However, she couldn't have predicted just how much vitriol and hatred people had in store for her. In January of 2022, JellyBean uploaded a video asking her fans to spam the comment section with the phrase, "It's not a mistake, it's a masterpiece," in an attempt to break a world record. This was obviously an attempt to boost engagement for her videos, while also providing a fun way for her to interact with fans. The official YouTube account even provided their own endorsement in the comment section below. The video worked, with thousands upon thousands of her followers spamming the phrase below. Today, this YouTube short has nearly 1.3 million comments, a number that is still going up as viewers go back to contribute once again. JellyBean had found something that clearly worked, getting her name out there in a big way. As a result, these videos became a big trend for her, with her posting multiple YouTube shorts in the same vein after seeing its success.
So recently, Minecraft YouTuber by the name Camman18 has beaten my world record for the most comments on a YouTube short. But when I looked in the comments, it was all my people spamming, "It's not a mistake, it's a masterpiece."
Videos like this shot her to more than 1 million subscribers, and similarly, pulled up the rest of her socials to match. She had found a formula that worked, something most people struggle to do for years. And her audience wasn't fleeting either. They actually watched everything she did. However, this had an unintended consequence, as JellyBean's fans took it one step further and began spamming the phrase in comment sections across all of YouTube. Soon, creators who had nothing to do with her were receiving comments on their videos. It was spammed literally everywhere. Most people found this to be nothing more than harmless fun, as it had been intended. However, some took a major issue with the guerrilla comment campaign, criticizing JellyBean for encouraging her fanbase to spread spam across the site. To her credit, JellyBean did ask her audience to stop this, but by then it was a little too late. Her fanbase either did not care or was completely unaware of this message's existence, and the spam continued even after she requested them to stop.
I've had enough!
This is where the commentary community entered the picture, after taking notice of the trend. Although it has become varied and diverse throughout the years, commentary at large was founded on cringe culture, making fun of cringy and weird individuals or situations online. Sometimes this is also paired with some kind of moral outrage or message, but I've found that oftentimes whatever the issue is that's being propped up is more or less an excuse to just make fun of someone. Not that I have an issue with making fun of anyone, but you get the idea. With her obnoxious sense of humor and content style, JellyBean was an easy target for commentary channels wanting to harken back to days when cringe culture was at its strongest online. She was kind of loud, she was intentionally inoffensive, which perhaps comes across as pandering, and visually, she embodies everything Tumblr core. She wasn't just an easy target, she was the perfect target. But JellyBean had another controversy to tackle first. In February of 2022, a clip began circulating online of JellyBean calling an animatronic from the video game Five Nights at Freddy's security breach a pedophile.
You pedophile!
It's past your bedtime. You must be punished.
No, he's a pedophile! He's a pedophile, Chai! He's a pedophile!
While most saw this as nothing more than an edgy joke, there were many who were legitimately offended by what she said, with videos on TikTok criticizing her for it gaining hundreds of thousands of views. As a result, she soon apologized for the joke, and begged her audience for forgiveness. While most of her fanbase did accept this, the apology would only result in stoking the flames of hate against her even further, with many now accusing her of being cowardly for apologizing in the first place. While this controversy isn't extremely important in the grand scheme of things, it was indicative of a larger hate campaign against her that would soon take shape. In mid-February, a YouTuber by the name of The Beak uploaded a video about JellyBean. In it, he mocked her content for being annoying, called her spineless for apologizing for the Five Nights at Freddy's joke, and criticized her encouragement of spam.
But surely you would want to try to do something unique to help you stand out from every single person exactly like you? Surely you wouldn't want to just be another Dream SMP member clone?
Wait till you see the... no, 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 no.
While not the first video to cover any of these topics, it was the first one to gain a sizable amount of attention, with numerous commentary YouTubers soon jumping on the bandwagon in hopes of capitalizing on the trend, but managing to jumpstart their careers purely from the views and subscribers gained from talking about PNG tubers. Perhaps unsurprisingly, these videos tended to do quite well, with many of the channels talking about her starting out with very modest followings, but managing to jumpstart their careers purely from the views and subscribers gained from talking about PNG tubers. As the hate against her continued to grow, the trolls also began circulating fake screenshots of her saying racial slurs in order to interfere with her inoffensive and family-friendly persona. She would take to Twitter to emphatically deny the validity of any of these, but as with many before her, this only made things worse. Acknowledging it in any way merely fueled the flames. The ensuing drama surrounding the situation led to the creation of yet more videos about her, with them picking up more and more traction by the day. While many had hated JellyBean and her content before, these videos began a domino effect, with the hate campaign against her soon spreading to TikTok as well, with many memes mocking her videos appearing all across social media. It should be made clear that the majority of what people said about her is pretty tame. Most of these uploads often called her Jelly Mid or Jelly Bozo, which is not that bad all things considered, but it does illustrate how she became the latest cool to hate content creator, with some of these TikToks gaining millions upon millions of views.
Your weird shower thoughts. What is Obama's last name? What is his last name?
Despite the levels of hate against her, there were some within the commentary community who did defend her. Notable examples include Jaden, who conceded to the fact that she was incredibly annoying, but made the argument that it did not justify the level of hate directed towards her, and definitely not the harassment a few individuals were engaged in. And the hate didn't stop at just JellyBean. While her content was somewhat weird, there was little more to be said about it other than that it was weird. So, commentary channels soon chose to focus on clones of JellyBean instead. These channels are nearly identical in every way, so the criticisms of them were much the same and their videos about them were basically the same video every day. But hey, they got views, and if that's your only goal, then what else is there to say? Even channels who had defended JellyBean herself latched onto this trend, with videos about different PNG tubers become nearly as popular as the ones about her. This new wave of content appeared to begin as lighthearted mockery, but would soon escalate to a new level, leaving many of her critics wondering if things had finally gone too far. In March of 2022, JellyBean's home address, name, and face were discovered and leaked onto Doxxing by a group of trolls. Soon after this leak, JellyBean's face was spread all across the internet, with many videos on TikTok and YouTube prominently displaying it in their videos as a way of getting back at her for her cringy content. Many of those who originally criticized her spoke out and condemned this, but this did little to stave off any of the harassment towards her. As if this wasn't bad enough, it was also around this time that people began to draw not safe for work art of her character, showing her OC in some pretty compromising positions.
Someone actually drew Rule 34 of a 16-year-old Minecraft YouTuber. What goes through your head to do something like that? How do you think that that is at all okay?
This is something JellyBean herself had previously asked her audience not to do, as she was still underage and felt uncomfortable being sexualized in any way. Whether these artists are legitimate fans of hers who don't care about boundaries, or trolls trying to mess with her is something that's difficult to gauge. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. The art was drawn, it was spammed to her, and she saw it. It was clear at this point that things had escalated to a completely different level. In response, JellyBean made a tweet addressing the drama directly, stating that she hoped what had happened to her would never happen to any content creator ever again. Soon after, she would also temporarily private her TikTok to quell some of the hatred from comment spammers who had taken to filling her comments with negative messages. Although her TikTok would soon be banned for supposed violations of TikTok's terms of service, her new account would prove to be just as successful, already garnering over 500,000 followers. Thankfully for her, ultimately this backlash has pretty much died down, and despite the massive wave of criticism directed towards her, she managed to maintain her core audience. She continued to release content on a consistent basis with steadily increasing views. And while her videos themselves are clearly directed towards kids, JellyBean herself appears to at least be somewhat self-aware, reacting to memes criticizing her and kind of playing along, causing most people who were invested in the controversy to just get bored, because she's not that bad. So, JellyBean was no longer a topic for the commentary community. People simply stopped caring about her in that regard. So who are they going to make videos about now? Around the same time that the hate for JellyBean was at an all-time high, a new content creator known as Meowbahh entered the scene. She first started posting content in March of 2022, and despite only having an online presence for a little over a month, she's garnered over 1.4 million followers, with her being embroiled in even more controversy than any of her counterparts. While originally posting extremely standard TikToks drawing fan art for Dream and JellyBean, she made her debut as a full-on PNG tuber soon after, with a high-pitched childlike voice and anime girl appearance.
Hi there, Migo-chan! Welcome to Meow's PNG tuber introduction. Meow's name is Meowbahh. Please call Meow, Meow!
Although many considered her to be genuine at first, her extremely exaggerated persona caused many to question how legitimate she really was, with some speculating her to be a troll trying to infiltrate the community. Even from the early days, there were accusations of racism, or that she had been saying slurs, which a lot of people took issue with. Soon after blowing up in popularity on TikTok, Meowbahh would create a Discord server and heavily promote it on her page. This would ultimately confirm her to be quite the troll, as in this server, she would go on to tell multiple people to kill themselves, call them retarded, and use racial slurs to insult various members of her server. A few years ago, this may have been seen as commonplace online, but today, almost anyone doing this is seen as an outlier, and so many went to her server just to capture these moments and post it elsewhere. Soon after, a clip began circulating of Meowbahh supposedly doing an impression of the YouTuber and Twitch streamer IShowSpeed. This video has led many to believe that Meowbahh is actually a male in disguise. She too would be allegedly doxxed by trolls. However, the information contained within it is unverified, with little evidence to back it up. Seeing as she has no interest in responding to criticism and usually hides behind a layer of irony, it's possible we'll never truly know what her real identity is, or what her true intentions are. But, if you ask me, she exists as a simple response to everything that happened with JellyBean. For as cringe as she was, JellyBean really didn't do anything wrong. For everything that people tried to throw at her, ultimately her spamming comments or making some dumb joke about a scary Chuck E. Cheese game weren't that big of a deal. Everyone just wanted to call her cringe, to the point that some people faked screenshots of her being offensive just to have something to talk about. And what happened? Everyone started talking about it. Meowbahh, meanwhile, was not only wince-worthy, but also intentionally offensive, saying edgy shit just for the sake of it, and then pretending she didn't when asked. Some took this as her trying to escape criticism for her actions, when really, that's the entire point, to make people upset. And what worse crime could there be on today's internet than saying the N-word and then hiding it? As time has gone on, her edgy tendencies have slowly crept their way into her videos as well, becoming increasingly more offensive with each upload.
On a scale of 2 to 9, what is your opinion on the Russian invasion on Ukraine? Meow personally believes Russia had a reason for it. Russia did what it needed to do. Could you beat Allah in a fight? Of course Meow could! Meowbahh!
1 million followers on TikTok and 300,000 people in her Discord are pretty damn impressive if you want to talk about numbers. But she didn't get all of this popularity on her own. In fact, she was a part of one of the most ambitious collaborations in YouTube history, and all she had to do was make dumb little videos and hang out on Discord to pull it off.
To anybody saying Meowbahh is a troll,
probably all know who Meowbahh is.
This might be the end of Meowbahh.
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 Meowbahh, Meowbah, Meowbah.
Video after video came out from channels who made fun of her, criticized her, and called her out for, I don't even know, like what, nothing. There is video after video on YouTube with hundreds of thousands of views, which have propelled her to a level of fame she never, ever would have seen without them. When I found her account just before everyone was talking about her, she had under 40,000 followers. A few weeks later, she had 20 times that. And who does Meow cite as her biggest inspiration?
Meow took inspiration from Meow's favorite content creator, JellyBean Sama. You know JellyBean?
Yeah, I know who JellyBean is.
She's just so kawaii, and then she blocked Meow.
Why'd she
Meow's a
block
little bit
you?
depressed. Your guess is as good as Meow's.
After hearing about these antics, JellyBean would directly reference the Meowbahh controversy on Twitter, subsequently blocking her and showing her distaste for the up-and-coming kawaii desu TikToker. As a result of the block, Meowbahh would go on to insult her on Twitter, effectively cutting ties to the rest of the PNG tuber community, who all have intentionally brand-friendly messaging in their videos. Ironically, despite JellyBean having a somewhat hostile reaction to Meowbahh, the emergence of Meow has played more of a role in dampening the hate against JellyBean than any video had up until that point. Meowbahh's over-the-top parody of PNG tubers was far more annoying than any video JellyBean had ever put out, and her egregious trolling attempts and contentious presence online made for a target too irresistible for commentators both on TikTok and YouTube to ignore. The same people who had once mocked JellyBean now focused their attention solely on Meowbahh, resulting in her TikTok being flooded with numerous hate comments. Even her own Discord server seems to have partially turned against her, with all community posts being greeted with downvotes and angry comments in her chat. I assume the people going to her server just to spam meow mid or actual messages of condemnation are just children, but who really knows with the internet? I feel like people are getting more brain dead overall with the passage of time, so not gonna count on it. And while many may look at this and consider it a total victory over Meowbahh, who really won in this situation? Meowbahh is a troll fishing for attention, and she received it. While that attention is largely negative, this ultimately seems to have been her goal all along. Those who mock her and call her cringe are actually only vindicating her existence, as she continues to upload content while embracing the hate. Really, she serves as an interesting foil to JellyBean. One comes from a place of sincerity and was met with a lot of controversy, while the other co-ops her persona and uses it to intentionally stir up that same controversy. The only question now is if Meowbahh will manage to maintain any audience once the hate completely dies down, and everyone moves on to the next cringe punching bag.
It's truly more sus than a character from Among Us.
The most fascinating part of the story we've covered today isn't the controversy itself, but rather the lack thereof. At the end of the day, what was any of this even about? Online communities banding together to brigade against a perceived enemy isn't something new, but a phenomenon that still remains confusing to this very day. What began as harmless videos making fun of cringe up-and-coming Minecraft YouTubers led to the rise of numerous entire YouTube channels, the doxing and harassment of an underage creator, and the creation of one of the most infamous trolls in recent memory. For better, or for worse, the JellyBean drama has revealed that no matter how innocuous the creator, it's possible for drama to follow in their wake. At the end of the day, JellyBean still maintains maintains a loyal and dedicated fan base that continues to support her content without hesitation. Meowbahh, of course, is ostracized from the PNG tuber community, but as stated before, an argument could be made that this is what she wanted all along. With commentary channels moving on to the next big thing and many losing interest in the hatred of these YouTubers, it's safe to say the flames are dying down for now. And while all of this is a small footnote in the grand scheme of the internet, it's an extremely poignant example of how controversies can form about nothing. I've been Turkey Tom. Thanks for watching my video about nothing, and until next time, leave me alone.